Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome once again to another episode of e-teaching. In this class, GSP 1201/2201, Use of English. You are welcome. Our topic today is reading comprehension and SEM, which means that the lesson will focus on two main elements, that is comprehension and then summary. Now let's begin with a question. What is reading? Reading essentially is one of the most basic aspects of language learning. In fact, one of the four major elements, that is listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And reading itself plays a very significant role in language acquisition because it implies the reader's ability to decode or decipher and interpret a written document. While writing and speaking are expressive language skills, they help our ability to produce print and speech. Reading and listening are receptive language skills because it is through them that we will be able to understand print and speech respectively. Now, this leads us to the next question. What is reading comprehension? Comprehension literally means understanding. In other words, it's the ability of someone to understand what is read, what is written, or what is related. So in a way, reading comprehension simply implies reading something in order to understand or to grasp what the passage is about and eventually to be able to respond adequately to the questions that follow, because normally reading comprehension presupposes questions. Now, this reading is not merely done in a vacuum, but rather there are certain accepted modes through which reading is done. One of them is intensive reading. Intensive reading simply means reading shorter text in order to be able to gain or extract specific information and other textual details, which means that when you're engaged in an intensive reading, you are not expected to read everything in detail, but rather to be able to extract some specific information from the text, what we call in literature orange squeezer. You just pick out what you need and then leave the rest. The second type of reading is extensive reading, which means wide reading. For example, trying to read longer text in order to have a general or a universal understanding, and this could even be done for pleasure, meaning that extensive reading is not only done in the classroom or for exams or written assignments or whatever. You can just be engaged in an extensive reading just for pleasure. Now, there are purposes of reading comprehension. Reading has the following purposes. One is to grasp the sense of the passage. Two, to generalize from and apply simple logic to the passage. Three, to get the meaning of part and whole of the passage. Four, to understand the passage's essential features. Five, to identify the keywords and their grammatical functions or connotations. Seven, to try to appreciate facts from opinions. And 8, to identify sentence types and figurative expressions. Steps of reading comprehension. Well, to remember reading, 3 essential steps are normally presented. Let's look at what you should do before, during, and after reading in order to get the most out of your reading experience. Before you read, you should strive to identify the structure of the text. In other words, try to fully understand the text. In order to fully understand the text, one must first look at how it is structured, how it is formed. That is, we need to carefully observe the elements of the text in order to identify its structure, which comprises title, subtitles, illustrations, captions, boxes, what's in bold type, etc. During reading, students are expected to be active. That's it. In other words, you have to define your reader project and you're starting to lose yourself in reading the text. Here again, some certain attitudes tend to facilitate understanding and memorization of a particular text. These are: try to locate the frame and then locate the key idea. After reading, that is the third element, is after reading, which is after reading, you're supposed to try to rephrase. This is far from paraphrasing and not also copying or plagiarizing the key ideas. No. The essence of rephrase is try to explain what you have written from the text in your own words. That's it as far as the first segment, that is reading comprehension, is concerned. The second segment of this module is summary. What is a summary? Briefly, summary is a brief statement or restatement in the writer's or the speaker's own words of the main ideas of a passage. For example, once you must have, you find that summary and comprehension are interdependent on each other because they all presuppose the existence of a written document. So summary is simply means a brief statement about the main ideas in a condensed form. In other words, you try to condense the writer's main ideas into a brief and concise form. Summary always is shorter than larger text because you find that many things tend to be omitted, like examples, asides, analogies, rhetorical strategies, and so on. All of them are omitted because the main statement, it's just a very brief statement which comprises the key elements in the text. Now, procedures for writing summary. The first item is try to understand the text. 2, you create a plan. 3, you write. 4, you proofread. Because once the writing is complete, there's the need for you to read everything over and over again and try to check that you have forgotten nothing, you've added nothing, and you have supposed nothing. Number 5, you have to make sure that your text is clear, well written in a very transparent and good style, and then make sure that it is understandable by a reader who has not read the original text, meaning that from your summary, a reader who has not read the text before should be able to grasp the main idea of that text. And make sure that your summary is rigorous for a reader who has read it. Thank you. These 6 steps can also be followed while summarizing a particular text. Step 1 is try to list the main ideas for each paragraph in the text. Step 2, underline the main idea statements that include the most important ideas from the text. Step 3, combine any ideas that could go into one sentence. Step 4, number the ideas in a logical manner. Step 5, write your summary in one paragraph. And step 6, try to edit your summary. Well, this brings us to the end of this slide. Ladies and gentlemen, please do not hesitate to ask questions or anything which you think needs further explanation. Thank you. Good day. Bye.